What advice do you have for someone that has a hobby that they want to turn into a business?
That's a great question. I get this question all the time of someone has a certain skill or they have a certain hobby and they want to turn it into a business. I mean, you're similar to that, but not exactly the same, but I think you can really address this question.
Sure, absolutely. So for me, it's a pretty loaded question. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. I think the main thing is knowing your market is sort of the first place to start. If you don't know who's going to buy your service or your product, then you really can't sell it effectively.
Sure.
So at first you need to know who's actually going to buy this. One of the smartest things to do with low risk is to test that market. So you may have an idea of who's going to buy it, but you don't necessarily really know. So the first thing you should do is actually with a low risk is test it. And so you can test that a number of different ways, just depending upon your product or service, before you've put a lot of money, time, energy into it.
So in your case, and so for years I had a wrong, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
For years I had the wrong understanding of where I thought your business came from.
Yeah.
I thought that your hobby was leatherworking.
Right.
And that you were good at it and you liked doing it.
Right.
And then you wanted to make a business out of it. But
right.
in fact, you said, hey, I think there's a market out here. I'm going to learn how to do leatherworking.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Yep. So basically what happened is I owned a marketing firm and I was sort of tired of that industry, wanting to get out of it. So I had been thinking for several years about what could be a possible exit strategy out of the company. To kind of rewind a little bit, I had actually started another company before that, but it was a miserable failure in the fact that it never made any money. But one thing it was really good at, it was a good learning experience. And so I made some assumptions with that second company that I thought were very, very good assumptions about the market and about who would buy it and about the price point and all of that. And I spent 2.5 years and a bunch of money developing an online website and the product and the whole deal, and then launched it and never made a dime. And so on the heels of that is when Go Forth Goods, I had the idea to do that. So because of my learning experience with the first company, I was able to look at it and say, all right, before I put another 2.5 years in and tens of thousands of dollars into this company, why don't I actually see if I can actually make leather goods and if people actually buy them before I get into all this. And so that's what I did. So I started first with that, and I just designed one wallet, and then I showed some friends, and instantly I had 10 orders. And so then I said,
I think I remember that.
Okay, now I have something that I can actually move forward with, go to the next step with, or whatever. So that's the first thing. Figure out who your market is, figure out if they'll actually buy it, and then you can move forward to step 2.
Okay. So what was that company that didn't work?
So it was an online kids wall art company, actually.
Wall art?
Yeah, so and what gave me that idea is I had hand-drawn some artwork for my kids when they were first born to, put some art in their rooms or whatever, and friends would come over to the house and they would see the artwork and they would give me compliments and tell me, oh, who made this artwork, or where'd you get this? It's really nice. And so I had this thought, oh, well, if I created all these different characters and scenes and all that kind of stuff, and then allowed you to be able to customize it online, then I could create this automated system, customize it, send it to a fulfillment house, ship it, and all I have to do is bring the traffic in and sell these things, and I've got residual income coming in. All I have to do is create the system or whatever. So it was a great idea, but the problem is that I miss one major thing, and that is, will people buy my artwork on this medium for this price? And I assumed all of those elements based upon market research that I did, but I never actually did like a focus group. I actually never talked to real people or tried to sell it to real people. Yeah. And so by the time I actually pushed it out, it didn't go anywhere.
So you learned from that mistake.
Yes.
And you didn't just say,
yes,
I'm a failure.
Exactly.
You said,
right.
This was an expensive education for me, but it was
exactly.
Education.
Right.
People pay a lot to go to private schools.
Exactly.
So you got your education, and then you said,
yep,
let's do something totally opposite.
Right.
Let's see what works, and then go sell it.
Right.
It's brilliant.
And so the idea for the leather goods company actually happened. I was packing up for a Disney trip with my family, and oddly enough, it was Disney. Exactly. And Disney's where dreams are made true, or something like that. Isn't that the saying? Yeah. So anyway, so I was heading down to Disney, and bag broke on me, and so I was frustrated. You can't find anything that's quality made anymore. You buy something and it just seems to break. It's very sort of temporary. And so I was looking for a replacement bag, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. I couldn't find something that was quality made, American made, that had a good, simple design to it. And so I just said, you know what? I wonder if I made my own. I bet you I could make my own that would be exactly what I'm looking for. And so I started kind of researching, what it would take to make my own, bag and that kind of stuff. And it was a little bit more than I wanted to invest in. And so I said, well, let me start small. Let me look and see what it takes to make a wallet or a key fob or whatever. And so that's kind of what I started small, low risk, just to see if it would work. And it did. So people loved the products that I started creating, and it just took off like that.
Great.
So, yeah.
Made an American success story.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.